It's week 2 of NFL free agency, and we have some more breaking Philadelphia Eagles news to get to here on the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now. My name is Chase Senior. As always, thank you so much for hanging out here with me. And no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, I appreciate you for making today's show a part of your day. The breaking news that we're going to start off with: the Philadelphia Eagles have signed wide receiver Marquise Brown to a 1-year contract. I love this move for Philadelphia. On top of that, been a busy day across the National Football League because this morning, a blockbuster trade in the National Football League, the Miami Dolphins trading wide receiver Jaylen Waddle to the Denver Broncos for a first-round pick, a third, and a fourth. What does that mean for A.J. Brown's asking price? It only means that the price has gone up and Howie Roseman's trade demand is solidified. Here is the breaking news on Marquise Brown from Jordan Schultz, who broke that news just moments ago here on this Tuesday. The Eagles are signing former Chiefs wide receiver Marquise Hollywood Brown to a 1-year contract worth up to $6.5 million. The explosive Brown, with 49 catches and 587 yards last year, in addition to 5 touchdowns. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Jahan Dotson replacement. He's a better fit than Jahan Dotson. He is much cheaper than Jahan Dotson as well. Dotson got a 2-year contract worth around $7 million with the Atlanta Falcons. Hollywood Brown, only a 1-year deal worth $6.5 million. So my initial reaction to this, I love this move for the Eagles and their offense. Finally, Philadelphia has a vertical threat and a speedster to complement some of the weapons on the offensive side of the ball who the Eagles are going to keep and hold on to and have going into 2026. And Hollywood Brown, even though his yards per catch numbers throughout his career, it's like 11.5, he's an electric speedster who you can use in a variety of ways. As a gadget guy, also in the slot to complement A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith. And it's been a while since this Eagles offense has had a true vertical threat. Somebody who can really threaten the defense in taking the top off of the defense, popping that lid, but also opening up so many opportunities for all of the other playmakers on this team. Of course, A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith. With their route tree, which is very diverse, and Marquise Brown getting vertical, think about all of the outs this could open up. Think about all of the shallow crossers this could open up. Think about the vacant space that could be on the field when Marquise Brown gets vertical, having to occupy the attention of a corner, also a safety, and the real estate that A.J. Smitty are going to have to work with, but also who also thrives down the seam and underneath Dallas Goedert. This also impacts the run game as well because you can't load the box as much when you have a wide receiver trio on your screen right here of AJ, Marquise Brown, and DeVonta Smith. And in this new Sean Mannion offense, it's done a good job of bringing out production in the wide receiver 3, but also with the gadget plays that you can call for Brown, end arounds, bubble screens, get him the ball. Let some blockers get downfield on some of these pull blocks, getting out to that second and third level in space, and let Marquise Brown cook. So this is a depth piece to this Eagles wide receiver room, which just makes them more complete and better. And the speed option here is a component that the Eagles really haven't had since Quez Watkins. And you can say what you want about Quez Watkins. The guy was a late round pick. Did he kind of alligator arm the deep ball from Hurts to him in the Super Bowl in 2022, Super Bowl 57 against Kansas City? And if he catches that ball, does it lead to a touchdown for the Eagles? Do they win that game? Yeah, you can make that argument. Quez Watkins, though, at least gave the Eagles a speed option who posed a threat, who the defense had to account for. And Marquise Brown now gives Philadelphia that. And you've got Darius Cooper, Johnny Wilson in the mix. This is also a deep wide receiver class. And so the Eagles could draft a really solid wide receiver, but they'd be in no rush for that player to play right away. You could take your time in developing that player if you need to, or he can be in the mix as well. And Brown's career has been interesting. You think back to what he did at Oklahoma, he was a very, very dynamic player in Lincoln Riley's offense. And for where he got drafted in the first round, 25th overall, by the Baltimore Ravens. His nickname, also Primetime Jet, which is elite. His cousin is Antonio Brown, funny enough. He's never lived up to the expectations of being that first-round pick. Now, he's had good production. Year 1, 584 yards. Year 2, 769. Year 3, the only year that he's gone over 1,000. After that, he was with Baltimore 3 years. He got traded to Arizona, 709 yards, 574 yards. Last 2 years with Kansas City. Was really looking forward to seeing what he could do with the Chiefs in 2024. Played 2 games, started 1. But last year, the production was really good. 49 catches, 587 yards, 12 yards per catch, 5 touchdowns, 1 drop. He's also a pretty sure-handed wideout here who doesn't drop the football often. Of course, he's got a small frame. With that, he has shorter arms, so it's not like he's going to leap up, rip the ball away from DBs. But this is an electrifying playmaker who the Eagles are adding to the offense. And I heard some people in our office, we call it the bullpen, when this move came across, when Jordan Schultz tweeted that out. He's been doing a good job breaking news, by the way. Just don't beef with rap, or beef with rap. Who cares? Some people were like, see A.J. Brown, take care. To me, this move doesn't signal that A.J. Brown is going to get traded. This move makes the most sense to put Hollywood Brown alongside A.J. Brown and alongside DeVonta Smith with Dallas Goedert and with Saquon Barkley running the ball. The Eagles have struggled to get that production from that wide receiver 3 position, as I've talked about, really since Nick Sirianni came to Philadelphia in 2021. You know, at first it was Zach Pascal, and then it was Olamide Zaccheaus, and then the last 2 years it's been Jahan Dotson. But in this new offense, I think Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, Kevin O'Connell, they do a good job of involving everybody to make it a very well-rounded attack. And I know some of you might say, well, Chase, we have Darius Cooper. What does this mean for him? I didn't think Philadelphia was going to be content going into the season relying on a UDFA out of Tarleton State to be their wide receiver 3. Can he compete for that role? For sure. This is a 1-year contract worth up to $6.5 million for Hollywood Brown. So if he plays, great. If he doesn't, it's not like it handicaps you that much. Another value signing for Howie Roseman. So grade the signing of Marquise Brown. A, B, C, D, or F. Share your thoughts with me. I always want you to have a voice on this show. And what do we know? Howie Roseman making another move because this is Howie season. And if you want a Howie season shirt, be a real one and get one right now. Help to design this with our design guy, Arnold. We have sold so many of these. We've been sending them all across the country, all across the world. We have a black version and a Kelly green version as well. And you can wear this at any time because it's always Howie season. All you have to do is use that link down below, which will take you to our store, chatsports.com/Howie season. Very affordable, awesome, authentic design. Howie season, best GM in professional sports. All right, the other thing I want to talk about here. Jaylen Waddle this morning. Traded from the Miami Dolphins to the Denver Broncos. And you look at the trade compensation here. The Broncos get Jaylen Waddle to add to Cortland Sutton and another weapon for Bo Nix. The Broncos also get a 2026 4th-round pick. Look at the package that the Dolphins are getting here for Jaylen Waddle. A 2026 first-round pick, 30th overall, but it's still a first-round pick. The Dolphins are also getting a 2026 3rd-round pick and a 2026 4th-round pick. Again, this trade compensation impacts a potential A.J. Brown trade, drives up the asking price, and you can see why Howie Roseman has maintained his belief and maintained and solidified his asking price of A.J. Brown demanding a 1st-round pick and a 2nd-round pick. If Jaylen Waddle, who's been a really good player, is going to get a 1st, a 3rd, and a 4th, you better believe A.J. Brown should be netting a 1st-round pick and a 2nd-round pick. Jaylen Waddle's numbers the last 4 years, and their numbers since 2022. You look at the numbers here, and we'll show you Waddle, we'll show you A.J. Brown. But since 2022, that's when AJ got traded to the Eagles. So also over the last 4 years, Jaylen Waddle entering his age 27 season, 269 catches, 4,024 yards, 20 touchdowns. All right. That's since 2022, the last 4 years. You flip to AJ Brown. Total. He's also been a 3-time All-Pro during this stretch, has AJ. 339 catches to 269 for Waddle. 5,034 yards to 4,024. And AJ has 32 touchdowns to Waddle's 20. So Howie Roseman, some people have said he's crazy for wanting a first and a second round pick. That's what DeVonta Adams went for. Also an accomplished wide receiver, trying to be a Hall of Famer at around the same age. That's what Tyreek Hill went for. AJ is a more complete wide receiver and doesn't have the character issues that Tyreek Hill has. So AJ Brown is a great player. He's put up great production despite this Eagles offense having two coordinators, 2023 and 2025, who are in over their skis and in over their heads. And also, this has been a well-balanced offense, yet AJ has still been able to eat. AJ is one of the top wide receivers in football. And so if you're going to see DeVonta Adams and Tyreek Hill go for what they went for, Jaylen Waddle go for what he went for, this is why our Patriots host, Brett Alper, who grew up in Delaware but hates all Philadelphia sports, and he lets me and Chip know every single day when we have clearly gotten the point, is in shambles now. He's in shambles because he knows that his New England Patriots won A.J. Brown, but the asking price just went through the roof. And this is why the Eagles are in no rush to trade A.J. unless they get a deal that makes sense. And honestly, in signing Marquise Brown, it makes more sense to have Marquise Brown alongside A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith. Makes this offense as a whole better. Don't forget to give me a follow on social media. You can find me on X, Instagram, TikTok, at Chase_Senior. I'm also on Facebook, Chase Senior Chat Sports.